What's up, everyone? Today I'll be telling you 3 ways to get people to pay for your SaaS product and to know if your SaaS product has the potential to grow to up to 5K MMR and beyond. So, to get right into it, the first way is, and the hardest way, is to solve a new problem. So, a lot of problems are already solved. So, if you think about creating a marketplace, like an e-commerce marketplace like Amazon, or creating a search engine, those problems have already been solved by people many years ago and with way more capital, engineers, everything. So coming up with new problems to solve that haven't been explored or developed at all, it's probably going to be really hard. At the beginning of the dot-com bubble and when the internet was new, coming up with a new idea was pretty easy. Think about Amazon. The internet had just came out, and there were nowhere to buy books. So that's where Amazon came from. Same thing with Google. There was no way to search the internet. So Google came about and was really successful. So that's probably the hardest problem to solve, is finding a new problem, because any idea you come up with for a problem, if you just Google it, you will find many companies already doing and solving the problem you were thinking about creating. So the second way to create a product people will pay for, besides solving a brand new problem, which very rarely you will find, is to improve on an existing solution. So if you can't find a new problem, find something that people are already doing, but just improve it. So 2 examples I have is PlanetScale. PlanetScale offers a MySQL platform. So setting up an SQL server with AWS or any other provider was really hard, and if you don't know what you're doing, you can mess it up. You can run up your AWS bill or introduce a security flaw into your MySQL server. So PlanetScale makes it easy with just a few clicks to spin up your own MySQL server and connect to it within just a few clicks. So this saves people time, so they don't have to mess with AWS and they don't have to hire anyone to do the AWS infrastructure for them. PlanetScale already solves all of that. So this is not a new problem. You'll see there are many platforms that offer MySQL hosting, but none of them are quite as easy to use as PlanetScale or offer a generous free tier like PlanetScale. As you see here, you get up to 1 billion row reads for free. So that's what PlanetScale did, is they just took a problem that already existed and just made it better than all the competitors. The second example of this is Resend. So if you've ever tried to send an email, you'll notice it's pretty difficult to find a good email provider, and it's pretty hard to get it working. You have to mess with SMTP details, you have to buy a domain and all that. Resend makes it extremely easy to send an email, and you can even use reactive emails. So there are 1 million different services you can use to send an email, but Resend said, okay, there are 1 million services that do that. How many of them focus on developer experience? How many of them focus it on making it as easy as it possibly can be for developers? Probably none of them. So that's where Resend came in and said, hey, that's what we'll do. We'll make it really easy for developers to send an email. And you'll see they've raised $3 million on an email sending platform. So that means they have some traction. So think about if you just Google email providers, you'll see 1 million of them. Mailgun, Hostinger, MailChimp. Just Googling it off rip, you'll see many different email providers, but none of them quite nail the developer experience like Resend does. So that's where Resend came in and said, okay, this is where we can improve upon it. Even though there are already email providers out there, this is where we can improve on it. And they've done a great job of doing that. Even I use Resend to send emails. So if you can't solve a new idea, improving an existing solution, making an existing solution easier to use, or improving the marketing of an existing solution, that's how you can get people to use the product. The third, and probably the easiest one, is you find a product and you just make it specific for a group of people. So think about Linear. Linear is a note-taking app, but it's not just a note-taking app, it's for software developers. I'm sorry, this is not a note-taking app. This is like Monday.com, but for software developers. So as you see, Monday.com is very broad. It's just, as you see here, it doesn't say for any, as you see all these different things you can use it for: creative design, software, marketing, project management, sales, CPM, task management, HR. And instead of Linear saying, okay, let's try to copy Monday, they said, no, we'll make it just for software developers. And as you see from the companies that use Linear, they've done a great job of capitalizing on that. So systems like project management tools like Linear already exist, but very few of them focus on the software development side of things. The other example I have is LinkedIn. So LinkedIn is social media, but for professionals. So anything that's like X, but for Y, will probably do pretty well if it's not already being done in a semi-good fashion. So for instance, you can even niche down something that's already niched down. So you can say LinkedIn, but it's for founders. So a founder-only LinkedIn, and someone has already done that. It's called Entree. So this is LinkedIn, but for startup founders and investors. So services like that will always do well. You can also think about it, Amazon, but for dog products. Anything like that. Anything you can niche down from something that already exists and target a specific group of people will always do well, because once those people see it, they'll say, aha, that's what I was looking for. I don't like using X, but because this is X but for Y, it fits my use case perfectly, I'll use it. So those are kind of ways you can think about creating ideas that will fit these three models. And if you do that successfully, people will pay for your stuff. You also have to think about UI and UX nowadays is important. But if you have a core product that solves a good problem, that stuff doesn't matter too much. As long as you're solving someone's needs, people will pay for it. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comment.